as a woman in leadership. In this video, if you have ever experienced this, maybe you've been on a salary negotiation discussion and perhaps you felt just unsure of what to say, or maybe you were just a little bit afraid of saying that number that you really want to say. Well, this video is going to share with you the secret skill that you can use that will help you to negotiate a higher salary. And it may not be what you think it is. It may not be something that you have been taught. This particular skill will help you to set yourself apart from everyone else. And if you want to know this skill and you want to learn how to negotiate a higher salary as a woman in leadership, then this, friends, is the best place for you to be today. I'm going to share it with you, and I'm going to go into detail in terms of why this one skill, oh, I can't wait to tell you. You got to watch this video until the end. But this one skill will really help you set it apart as the candidate of choice and as someone who can showcase their executive presence when they are negotiating their salaries. So if this sounds of interest to you, definitely want to watch this video until the end because it will help you on your journey. Now, I do want to say that this is a live video. So if you're watching this portion of the video, thank you so much for joining. You are likely watching the replay. And on the live videos here on YouTube, there's typically a point in time when the live audience will join. So give me just a few moments so I can say hello to everyone as they start to join the live and introduce myself or have them introduce themselves. And then we'll go into how you can learn how to master this one very important skill as it relates to salary negotiations as a women in leadership. Now, my channel specifically focuses in on helping you to communicate at a higher level than your peers so that you stand out from everybody else as a leader. My one-on-one clients that I work with specifically are women in leadership. However, on my channel here on YouTube and on many of the accounts I have many of the platforms I have accounts on, I have a lot of women in leadership and men in leadership that are part of my channel. I want to let everyone know that even if you're not in my direct audience that I work with specifically, I'm glad that you're here and you will learn some information that will absolutely help you to become an amazing leader, even if you're not necessarily a woman in leadership. So welcome, and I'm glad that you're here. I want to say welcome to all of you who are present right now. Please let me know, have you ever struggled with negotiating your salary? Have you ever had a salary negotiation that you wish would have went in a different direction? Let me know in the comments below. And we can talk about how we can help you to be able to negotiate a higher salary. If you like this information and you want to be that person that stands out from everybody else in terms of how you communicate, then you absolutely want to subscribe to the channel, friends. This is a great place for you to be. I believe that people become great by how they communicate. And my role, my mission here on this earth is to help unlock the greatness within you as a leader so that I can help you go to the next level in your journey. Let me know where you all are joining from in the big, beautiful world today. And I'm going to share with you the secret that will help you negotiate your salary. And keep in mind, salary negotiations, people make them very, very complex. And to be quite candid with you, they can be very complex. There's a lot that goes into negotiating your salary, and I know it can be very intimidating and very challenging for people to do that. Therefore, what helps you to negotiate a better salary? Well, the first secret I would say, is that you have to learn how to communicate. Many people struggle with salary negotiations because they don't know what to say. So let me give you an example. I had a client of mine who was trying to transition into her career, into a different role in her career, and she wanted to make more income, but she wasn't really quite sure of how to go about doing it. So what did she do? She applied for a job and she came to the point where they wanted to offer her a salary. So what happened in this case? Well, they spoke with her. They said, this is the salary we're going to offer you. And she said, okay, I'll take that salary. And she took it. Well, fast forward 4 months later, she found that the salary that she accepted was very low compared to other people. and that she was doing additional work that was not initially discussed when she interviewed for the position. Now, I want to know from you, have any of you ever experienced that? Have you ever accepted a salary thinking that this is what the salary is going to be, but then start a new role and find that you are doing 10 times the work that they asked you to do? I want to know from you, because personally for me, this has happened. This has happened to me before, and this is the reason why I'm so incredibly aggressive as it relates to salary negotiation. So you need to learn how to communicate. If you're able to communicate and articulate your value as you are negotiating your salary, then people will start to pay attention to what you have to say. Now, before I go into, we talked about communication, but before I go into the one secret that will make you stand out from everybody else. Now, as I mentioned, this secret will make you stand out from everybody else as it relates to how you negotiate your salary. Let me say hello to Chicken Jockey Bro. Hello, welcome, friend. How you doing today? For those of you who have joined, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Let me know, have you ever struggled with salary negotiations, or what questions do you have as it relates to negotiating your salary? Feel free to learn from my over 20 years, everybody, 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, as a director, as a manager. That I've negotiated hundreds of salaries at this point, leaders, and I'm here to support you on a journey. Just let me know how I can help you. Now, we talked about, for those of you who just joined, and let me say hello to Kinley Dunn Records. Hello, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. So Kinley Dunn Records says, are you female though? Are you female though? Well, Kinley Dunn Records, I want to ask you, what does it look like? I am. And this channel specifically is for women in leadership. And yes, this channel is really geared to helping anybody that is on their leadership journey and wants to communicate at a higher level than their peers to be able to do so. So we actually talk about pretty serious topics here, Kinley Dunn Records. So if it appeals to you, feel free to stay and hang out with us today. Chicken Jockey Pro says, police officer. Well, welcome, Chicken Jockey Bro. Glad you're here today. Appreciate you being here. And so Kinley Dunn Records says, you're gorgeous, love your smile. Well, thank you, Kinley Dunn Records. I appreciate you. And Kinley Dunn Records says, my bad for trolling. Well, it's all right. I've had worse, Kinley Dunn Records, so it's okay. It's all right. I'm glad you're here. Appreciate you being here. Let me know if you ever struggle with salary negotiations. Let me know. Now, we have a lot of ground to cover. So I mentioned to you how communication is critically important when you're trying to negotiate your salary. If you're not able to communicate and articulate why you want to have a salary at this particular range compared to a lower range, this is going to be a challenge for you. So communication is really important. If this is something that you know in your mind, you know, I could do a little bit better with this, then you absolutely want to subscribe to this channel. I have a lot of information here, a lot of lives that really dive deep into communication and how you can communicate at that higher level than your peers and stand out from everybody else. It doesn't matter what industry you are in, doesn't matter what gender you are, learning how to communicate will help you to get a higher salary. So this is something that is really important. Before I go into the secret, I know we're getting there, but let me make sure I see what's going on in the chat. Kinley Dunn Records says, best way to ask for a raise without seeming overbearing. Okay, so Kinley Dunn Records, that is a fantastic question. And let's talk about this. So I may need you to dialogue with me just a little bit. So good point. Many times people think when people ask for a raise, they are seeming overbearing. So let's take it back. Let's go into why this happens, okay? We'll go into why this happens, why people seem overbearing when they're asking for a raise, and how you can ask for a raise and not seem overbearing. If that sounds okay to you all, let me know. So usually, and I'm telling you this from my over 20 years experience as a C-suite executive, as a director, as a manager, I've had hundreds of employees, I've had hundreds of salary negotiations. The reason why people will sometimes appear to other people as being overbearing when they are asking for a raise, for a position, is because they are waiting until the last minute to ask for a raise. Let me explain to you this, why this is a challenge and why this can hurt you. When you are at a point, and let me know in the comments below if you all have ever experienced this. You may have, you may have not. I'll just share with you what's happened to me. But when you're at a point at your job and you're trying to ask for a raise and you're looking at things and you're getting yourself together to ask for a raise, there is typically some driver. There is something leaders that has happened to make you want to ask for a raise. Many times, whatever that thing is, it could be maybe you had another child. It could be you're going to be taking on another bill. It could be you're trying to purchase a vehicle. Maybe you're trying to buy a home. Maybe you have someone you have to take care of and it's going to cost you a lot more money than what you expected it to. And now you're looking at your job and you're saying, oh my gosh, this is not working for me. I need to ask for a raise. There's typically a driver. There's something that is causing you to ask for this raise. Now, you may be asking for a raise strategically. And if you're watching my channel, then you know I talk about this. You may be asking for a raise strategically, and you're not having an external factor or external situation coming into play that's bothering you. But most of the time when people are asking for a raise, there's something going on. There's something maybe outside of work that is pressing on them, that is making them to say, you know what, I need a raise. And so when people come into that conversation, remember, and if this ever happened to you, let me know in the comments below, or even if you're watching the replay. But when this happens, when you're in those situations where you're asking for a raise, you're coming in saying you need a raise, but you're coming in with that energy of like pressure, like I need a raise now. Like I need a raise, like right now I need a raise. And so sometimes it can come across as being overbearing because that external factor is factoring into how you are communicating to your manager, supervisor. So that's why this happens a lot of times. There's usually something going on to cause you to be just frustrated with your pay and your career and your job. Now, to answer Kinley Dunn Records' question, how can you ask for a raise without seeming overbearing? This is how you do it, Kinley Dunn Records. Take a pen and paper and write this down. The first thing that you need to do is take some time, and if you have something externally going on, that's fine. This is life. We're humans. We deal with stuff all the time. Make sure that that thing, whatever that external factor is not being present or is showcased in front of everybody. So you keep that to yourself, whether it's you trying to take care of your family, you're trying to do something else, keep some things to yourself. People don't need to know your personal business necessarily. However, what you do need to do is you need to think about what are the accomplishments that you have been able to achieve at this specific role. So think about the most notable projects that you've worked on. Maybe you were able to decrease the level of crime that happened in the community. I know we have a police officer here today. Maybe you were able to increase collections on maybe something related to finance. Maybe you were able to help patients. Whatever your industry is and the role that you're in right now, make sure you come in with facts in terms of what specifically you have done to be able to improve the organization. That's number one. Number two, I talk about this in my salary negotiations masterclass. It is on exciteexcellence.org, my business website, and it's under products and services. But there is something that you need to have as leverage. And I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on it because you definitely watch the masterclass for that. But you do want to have something else that makes you stand out. So maybe you've increased percentages of production by X percent. And maybe there's something else that you've done also. Maybe there's a certificate you're trying to go for. Maybe there's another certification you're trying to obtain. Maybe there's a degree that you're going to obtain that will actually directly benefit your company. All of that needs to come into play when you're trying to ask for a raise. So the key when you're asking for a raise to not seem overbearing is one, come in calmly. Whatever external pressure is going on that you feel like is just causing you to make this change right now and ask for a raise, let it go. Let it stay out the door. It should not be in the conversation when you are talking to somebody directly. And then number two, talk about your successes and talk about what your vision or your plans are for your specific role or your department. Maybe you have a big idea that you want to share that you know will increase production, or you know will decrease crime, or you know will improve patient outcomes, or you know will reduce collections, or whatever the case may be. Talk about that specifically. because I've been on the salary negotiation side, and I've had people to do exactly what Kinley Dunrecker has mentioned, is they'll ask me for a raise. And if people can come and speak to you in a way that is very calm, where it's not come across as desperate or overbearing, those individuals will likely at least be heard as it relates to a salary negotiation, and the managers will try to do what they can to make that happen. I can't speak for all managers. Some managers just don't want to give raises, and I'm just saying that. I know you may be surprised for me to say that as a manager, but I've worked with many managers who simply don't want to give raises. They want to pay you the least amount of money they can, and that's it. And I hope that does not hurt anyone's feelings, but I'm here to tell you real things that actually really do happen, real scenarios. People do think like this, unfortunately, as managers. I personally was not that type of leader. I really tried to give people more than what I could in terms of their roles, but that was just me. However, as I mentioned, coming into the conversation with facts. This is what you've done. This is what you've been able to accomplish. These are projects that I'm working on externally that can benefit the company, and this is what I see that can help for the project. So those are ways to ask for a raise without seeming overbearing. The key to this, Kinley Dunreckers, is to make sure that you are not bringing that emotion, not coming across as desperate, not coming across as like, I need a raise now type of person. You still want to be your same very calm self. Now, if you're not quite sure in terms of how do you modify your tone of voice, maybe strategically, maybe you want to elevate your voice or lower your voice, and that's why you subscribe to the channel. I talk a lot more about this here specifically because there's different strategies, and I'm going to give you one here in a secret in just a moment, but there's different strategies to help you negotiate your salary. Now, if this is something that you have ever struggled with, particularly as a woman in leadership, then let me know. I have a link to a strategy session in the description below that we'll have a conversation in terms of where you are, where you want to be, so I can help you. But I can tell you what to do. I can tell you the step by step that will help you. But there's certain aspects of how you communicate, the words you say, how you say it, when you say it, that really, truly will make a difference in your salary negotiation. Now, let's go to the secret I want to share with you. And I appreciate you, Kinley Dunreckers, for mentioning that because that's a very, very fantastic question. So thank you. Thank you so much. Now, the secret I want to share with you in terms of helping you, that will help you to negotiate your salary outside of learning how to communicate. So as Kinley Dunreckers asked the question, best way to ask for a raise without seeming overbearing, it all comes down to communication. How you communicate is very important in a salary negotiation. Now, let's take it a step further. Now, when you're in a salary negotiation, and let's say you're in that initial phase where the hiring manager, if they want to try to box you in and box you into your salary, they will ask you this question. Are you ready? I'm giving you secrets from being a manager in the C-suite, okay? They will ask you, what salary are you looking for? When they ask you what salary are you looking for, be prepared, be on guard that they are trying to box you in. They are trying to box you in. Some of them legitimately, they really want to know what you're looking for. But most of the time, they're going to try to box you in. So your goal and what you need to do, and this is just a part of communication and really communicating at advanced level, is you want to make sure you are ahead of it, right? So what happens? They're asking you, what type of salary are you looking for? Okay, they asked you that question, and then you have to think about, what do you want to say? And what I would say is that situation comes up, ask them, what is the salary range? Okay, we're asking for a range. We're not asking for the exact number. What is the range? Now, there's a YouTube video I have on my channel that talks about negotiate your salary like a boss. I talk a lot more about in terms of developing your specific ranges. So if you want to learn more about that, definitely check out that video. It is not a live video. It is a pre-recorded video, and it is very helpful for you to get these numbers in your mind so when you go into your salary negotiation, you are ready to go. Now, I do want to also mention that you want to ask them, what is the salary range for someone with my level of expertise? Now, if you're a one-on-one client of mine, you know I make sure you say this in your salary negotiations. Why? Because you want to ask for a range. You need to know exactly where they're looking for in terms of offering a salary for this position. But then showcase yourself as an expert. You are an expert in some aspect of your role. I guarantee you there is an experience that you have that other people do not have. So it's critically important for you to be able to present yourself as an expert. This is something that happens a lot of time in salary negotiations, is that people tend to struggle with putting themselves at that higher level. They need to boost their confidence, but they just don't know how to do it. Well, I will help you. Contact me for a strategy session in the description below. I will help you find a way to boost your confidence. If that's something you're struggling with, that's what I'm here for as your executive coach. So we ask for your level, they ask for the range for someone with your level of expertise. And then you know what the secret is next? Say nothing. Nothing. Why? Why do you say nothing? Because if you can remain silent and be comfortable with silence, it makes this very, very interesting dynamic in your salary negotiation. Let me explain. Most people, and when I say most, I mean most people, they are afraid of a few things. They're afraid of public speaking. They're afraid of making eye contact, and they're afraid of silence in a conversation. It feels awkward, right? It feels just like someone should be saying something. We are so trained as individuals to not appreciate that space of silence that can be very, very powerful for you, especially in a salary negotiation. So when you ask the hiring manager what salary range is appropriate, or what is the salary range for someone with my level of expertise, and you stay silent, the hiring manager is going to have to think, this is, I have to say something. Because the hiring manager that you're speaking with, more than likely, they're not comfortable with silence either. So if you are really trying to stand out from all of the other candidates, and you're trying to make sure that you are showcasing your executive presence when you are negotiating your salary, you will absolutely want to use the secret skill of silence in your negotiation. When people can say nothing and be comfortable with silence, there is a certain amount of control that person has, and there's a certain amount of executive presence that person has also. As I mentioned, most of the time, your hiring managers probably are not as skilled in executive presence as you are, especially if you are watching my channel. You are definitely going to become more skilled in terms of how to showcase your executive presence. But using silence allows you, even though they're asking you, what salary do you want to have? But if you can be silent and use this secret skill I'm sharing with you today, this will help you to be in control of the conversation. Now, I want to know from you, this is what, have y'all experienced this before? Have you ever had this happen? Let me know in the comments below. But let me take a look and see what's going on in the chat. We have, it's Janeth Cooler. I hope I said your name correctly, friend. If I did not, I'm sorry. All right, so let's see. It's Janeth says, play an example. Play an example. Okay, so I believe, and you said hello. So play an example. Let's say literally what I said, and this is the conversation I've had with people and people have had with me. If I said it's Janeth Cooler. Glad you're here today. We're really looking forward to having you start on our team. What salary are you looking for? And you may say, what salary range are you offering with someone with my level of expertise? As a hiring manager, I have to think, okay, what am I going to offer this person? What's the salary range? And man, why are they quiet? I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that are not comfortable with silence. Majority of people are not. So that's an example. And it causes the hiring manager to think and give you a number. Now, the trick to it is you have to have your numbers already in the back of your head. Now, you can't just say what I said and not have any numbers. Like, you don't want to do that. You have to go into your salary negotiations knowing where you want to be and where's the top, where's the middle, and where's the floor. You definitely want to check out the YouTube video I mentioned here. It talks about negotiate your salary like a boss, because I talk a lot more about those numbers. You need to know those numbers before you go in. But that's an example. All you have to do is just stay silent. Straight face. Because if you say, what's the salary range for someone with my level of expertise? And you're just smiling, then they're thinking, oh, I can say whatever I need to say to It's Jane This Cooler. I'll tell them this range. However, if you change your facial expression and that smile goes to straight face, it's a different energy that goes into that, and people take it a bit more seriously, and they say, oh wow, It's Jane This Cooler is serious, really serious about this salary. And that is the way you want to have your hiring manager look at you. They should take you seriously, and they should say, this person is the best candidate that we have, and this is the reason why we need to have them on our team. We want to elevate our team. Most people are trying to hire individuals that are very, very good in their skill set, and they can help elevate their companies, their businesses, and their teams, or a conversation, or etc. So you want to showcase your executive presence. This is what I talk about on my channel all of the time. This is what my channel is about. I'm helping you communicate at a higher level than your peers, because I want you to stand out from everybody else. So I hope that is a good example for you, It's Jane This Cooler, in terms of how you can use silence. Silence is powerful. It's powerful, leaders. If you can master being quiet, and we can practice silence. I'll probably do it in a masterclass. I do it with my one-on-one clients. But if you can practice silence and remaining silent, it will help you to set apart from everybody else. Because as I mentioned, if you missed this part of the live, people are uncomfortable with 3 things as it relates to communication: public speaking, eye contact, and silence. So if you as a leader watching this channel can master 1, 2, or all 3 of these, you automatically will stand out from everybody else. You can't help it, because the majority of the people are not comfortable with these specific types of communication challenges that come up. So I hope that is helpful for you. Kinley Dunn Records says, extremely thorough and informative. Thank you. Absolutely, friend. I hope you're able to learn a lot more. I talk about this. If this was helpful to you, you definitely want to take a look at some of my live videos here. I have a lot of lives that focus heavily on communication. As I mentioned previously, I have my target one-on-one audience I work with are typically women in leadership, but on my YouTube channel, I have a mixture of women in leadership, men in leadership on my channel, and all the information I'm sharing with you is applicable regardless of what gender you are in or what gender you are, as it relates to being a leader and really communicating at that higher level. So I guarantee you, Kinley Dunn Records, you will find information here that will absolutely help you stand out from everybody else. Everybody that watches my channel, that are genuinely subscribers of the channel, they are the exceptional leaders that we need in the world today. These are the individuals who want to communicate at a higher level. And so I share here on my channel specifically the experiences that I had. I have been on the news, I have been on magazine covers, I have interacted with congressional leaders here in the United States at the national level and at the federal and at the state level. I have done a lot, and I've been a C-suite executive and a director and a manager. So I've been in very friendly conversations and very contentious conversations. And oftentimes in the executive coaching world, what happens is you have people that are trying to tell you or guide you or get you to that next level, but they haven't lived it themselves. And I am not that kind of person. I've been in the fire, I've been in the trenches, and that's the reason why I'm able to share with you how you can really elevate how you communicate when those challenging situations come up, by the way you communicate, how you communicate, because I want you to not only be that person that stands out from everybody else, I want you to be the person that inspires other people, that motivates other people, that can hold themselves together under pressure also. And that's something that a lot of times is not discussed as people are transitioning into leadership roles. How do you conduct yourself when you're under pressure? And this is my specialty. This is what I do on the channel. So I appreciate that question so much. It's Jane This Cooler and also Kinley Dunn Records. very great questions, and I appreciate you because people that are watching the replay will want to know these answers too. Okay, so it's Janeth Cooler says yes and thanks. You're very, very welcome. It's Janeth Cooler says checking your vids. Thank you. I will contact you soon. Absolutely. Appreciate you having you here. And if you have any questions, especially on any of my videos, feel free to ask me. I do specifically comment and answer my comments. And if there's a topic specifically that you want to learn a bit more about, as a leader, maybe there's something you are trying to learn more insight on, or maybe you like my cowboy analogy as it relates to eye contact. So if you haven't learned about the cowboy, I talk about it literally at least every week on my channel at some point. But you definitely want to watch some eye contact videos to learn more about the cowboy. And if there's anything else that comes up for you, let me know in the comments below. I will do a video just for you and give you a shout out on the video also, depending on the topic as it relates to leadership, communication, and just going to that next level in your role in your career. So if you all have any other questions, let me know. And for those of you who are here and have joined, we just recapped what you need to master, some secrets you need to master if you're trying to negotiate your salary. The very first secret, really, you have to master when it comes to negotiating your salary is communication. If you're not able to communicate and articulate your value to the hiring manager or to your current boss, if you're trying to ask for a raise, as Kinley Dunn Records mentioned earlier, you can't get a salary increase. You will not be able to do it. You have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to communicate. I've said that many times. You have to be able to communicate. So if you're struggling with this, contact me for a strategy session in the link below, and then just join me here on the channel. Watch a lot of my live videos. I specifically talk about these skills. And the second secret I want to share with you was that you need to be able to become really comfortable and be silent when you are having a salary negotiation. It will automatically help you to stand out from everybody else. As I mentioned, understand that many people struggle with many aspects of communication, but the three main areas are public speaking, eye contact, and silence. So if you can master silence in your salary negotiation, it automatically helps you to gain control over the conversation instead of the control being in the hands of the hiring manager. Now, I want to share with you too, even when you're interviewing, being able to be silent in interviews is important too. It allows you to process information, the hiring manager to process information. This skill is so important. I can't overstress how important it is for you to start becoming very comfortable with being silent in a conversation. Not that you're being submissive and you're just not saying anything, but you can use silence strategically in your day-to-day conversations that will help you to stand out from everybody else as a leader. And people will take you much more seriously, and they will say, this person, Kinley Dunn Records, is Janeth Cooler, has an executive presence. And that is what you are looking for as a leader, to elevate yourself and make that big impact on the world that I know you all are trying to do. I appreciate you being here today. I go live here on this channel Tuesday through Friday in the mornings, in the evenings this time. So this is typically when I'm live. If for some reason I am not live, then something catastrophic happened in the day and I wasn't able to make it, but majority of times I'm here. So I appreciate you all for joining, and feel free to ask me any questions that you have as it relates to how to communicate at a higher level than your peers. If you like this information, you're always welcome to share this with any of your colleagues or your friends that you know might be struggling with salary negotiations or any other aspect as it relates to communicating, so that they can go to that next level and really communicate confidently under pressure. I will see you all in the next video, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye for now.